And action. Okay, welcome to the Faith Fam Fit Kitchen. We're about to make us a nice, quick green smoothie on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. This is the beginning of a change as it relates to this particular YouTube channel. We are solely going to focus on things that have to do with building up the body, building up the temple, getting stronger, living longer, being healthier, having to cut down on going to the doctor and things of that nature. Just all around, just rebooting in a sense, resetting. Just like you hit the Control-Alt-Delete button when your computer's acting a fool, we're doing this with our life. So we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to be one of those YouTube channels that, everybody looks, to be in peak shape. They just woke up like this and all that. We are real people just making better decisions and operating with the belief that if you make those small changes over time, that you will be healthier, you'll lose weight, you'll live longer, you won't have any health issues, so on and so forth. So one of my favorite scriptures, because our name is Faith Fam Fit, so we talk about our faith as well. One of my favorite scriptures in the Bible talks about how the race is not given to the swift, but those that endure to the end. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to endure to the end, and by making these choices, the end is going to be a lot longer for us than it will be for some people. Okay, let's get started. We have recently switched to primarily using the Nutribullet by Magic Bullet. I don't need to explain to you the benefits of this particular blender, but what I can say is that I am an experienced green smoothie maker. I've used pretty much every blender on the market that you see on TV. Used the Ninja. I've owned the Ninja, owned the Vitamix, owned the regular cheapo blender, and we finally decided to settle on this particular blender for a number of reasons. For one, it's very compact. It fits right into our kitchen shelving right here. Whereas with the Vitamix, it was very cumbersome. It was a powerful machine, don't get me wrong, but it was very cumbersome. It was huge, it was loud, it was noisy, and I found that when I owned a cheaper travel blender that we used really when we're going on trips, that it got the job done as far as breaking down the greens, because that's really the biggest thing with a blender is you want a blender that's going to break down those greens, the vegetables, the leafy greens, to pulverize them to the point that you don't get it stuck between your teeth. And it's just not something that people that drink smoothies as frequently as I do really want to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So we kind of consolidated, and I took back the Vitamix. We own the Vitamix Turbo Blend, and used the store credit to get a bunch of other stuff from Bed Bath & Beyond, and I ended up just buying this Nutribullet after I took some stuff back as well and used the store credit. So been using this for about 2 weeks now. It's been a pretty solid machine. Some of the things that you've probably heard people say as far as not to fill it past the max line and that it leaks, and I pretty much experienced everything that I've read online about it, but I'm still happy with it. It's just one of those things that you have to manage it and you have to be smart. You can't overpack it with hard frozen fruits, pretty much because that makes the blender work harder, which causes the pressure to circulate a lot stronger in the blender. And if it's, it is a Nutribullet, but it's doesn't have as powerful of a motor as the Vitamix has. It's got a pretty powerful motor. It packs a punch, but it's just not the Vitamix. But that's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you, as a former Vitamix owner, that you got to be careful, because you can't throw anything in the kitchen except the kitchen sink in this particular blender like you can with the Vitamix. But you can still get the job done. You just have to be smart about it. So let's get started. We're going to start with our base. I always like to use either kale or spinach. These particular kale greens are a lot cheaper. Got it from Walmart, maybe $2 or $3. You can buy, fresh picked kale if you choose to. For me, we're a pretty economical household. We live on budgets and things of that nature. So I did my research on Glory's kale greens, and you don't really lose anything. nutritional wise, you get pretty much the same benefits as fresh. Of course, fresh is always a little bit better, but it just depends on what your goals are. I'm the kind of guy that as long as we're taking care of everything overall, everything will even out health-wise in the long run. So I don't buy organic. I don't, do things like that simply because there are so many toxins and pollutants in the atmosphere now that the changes that you make switching from organic to non-organic and vice versa are kind of nominal. You just have to be smart. We don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't eat out maybe once a week. So like I said, we're more of a cumulative health seekers. So we want cumulative overall better health by making better decisions overall. So done with that rant. But we've got our kale greens in there. It's a little messy. Ain't nobody worried about that. So we got that in there. What this smoothie is called, I call this a Hustler's Good Morning. It's a combination of a number of different things that we're going to throw in there. And it's just kind of a go-to smoothie option for people that are fresh to and brand new to the smoothie game. You just, nothing special about it. You just throw pretty much everything in there. But I like to add some smaller nuances to the particular smoothie that, for me, make it taste a lot different each time, because I just put more of certain things and less, so on and so forth. So that's how I do it. But just go for what you know. Don't try to be perfect. Next, we got the blueberries that we're about to throw in there. All of these items were purchased from Sam's because we make them so frequently. I've noticed that it's kind of best to go ahead and buy them in bulk because I end up going to the store and paying $8 a bag for 2 to 3 pounds, and these particular bags are minimum. This is 4 pounds of frozen fruit, and this is 3 pounds. So fiscally, it comes out a lot cheaper. The way that the amount of times that I blend, it comes out a lot cheaper to go ahead and buy it in bulk. But you do what your wallet and what your budget allow you to do. So next, we got our bananas here. They've over ripened, and that's always the best time to use them, when they've over ripened, because they're at their sweetest. And I found that if you don't let them ripen in time enough, it's not, your smoothie's not going to be as thick, and the consistency, you'll end up having to sweeten it a lot more because it hasn't ripened. So the natural sweetness that would have been there is pretty much non-existent. Okay, we're almost done with our smoothie here. Now we're going to add our almonds. I use whole raw almonds. Let's take about a handful, not much at all, just a handful to add that protein and fiber that is always beneficial in a green smoothie. Just going to add a little bit more up in there. All right. And lastly, we've got our sweetener. I use Madhava agave nectar because I'm the type of person at this particular age in life just trying to watch things that have to do with blood sugar and diabetes. Those issues are in my family. So as I'm trying to be more proactive with health and things of that nature, I did a lot of research on agave nectar, and I find that it has a low glycemic index, which means that it doesn't spike insulin levels like your typical sugar, but you still get the benefits of the sweetness, and it's all natural. So I've been using this for a while, and I found that it works a lot better than stevia or Splenda. All of those things are manufactured, so especially with Splenda. So it has artificial ingredients put in, and I'm trying to keep things as natural as possible, so that's why we use this. And I don't really measure anything out, which may be a bad or a good thing, but black folk, not to make it a racial thing, but black folk, we kind of we do a pinch of this, a dash of that, things of that nature. So, you just measure to your enjoyment. But if you're one of those people that like to measure, feel free to put in about a teaspoon, 2 to 3 teaspoons. That's what I put in of the agave nectar. But again, because the banana is super ripe, I may not have even needed to put that much in there. But I just like it. Very sweet, so it's one of those things. Plus with kale, kale tends to have a bit of a bitter taste. You can't taste it at all in the smoothie because of all the fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. But because I'm using kale and not spinach on this particular video, I wanted to add a little bit more agave nectar just to make sure I don't taste any aspect of the kale, but I still get those nutritional benefits.